Who's got a cracker? Who's got something that's just like, that just takes the cake? Who's got something that's like, you know, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's kind of still there? Who's got one for us? Yeah, please.
Not good enough.
Not good enough?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a classic. Look, that's one. I'll tell you what, every human being on the planet has experienced that and does experience that in certain contexts. Yeah, who can relate to that? Yeah? Here we go, there you go, here we go. You weren't so keen to admit that before, were you? No. Look, this is one of the fundamental fears of a human being, is the fear of not being enough. Yeah? And that's the thing, is a lot of people think that their belief that they're not enough is true. But it's just an illusion, it's just a construction. Yeah? So what we actually do is we can actually look at that and saying, not good enough, how specifically? Good enough to do what? What does good mean? Right? Is it possible that someone might not necessarily have any skills or talents or abilities at the beginning, but they can learn them all and then eventually become good at it? Yeah? So again, it's like if we're measuring ourselves now by our skills and our abilities and our resource and our experience for what our end game is, we're going to undershoot the mark. Yeah? So a more resourceful belief I'll suggest we can put in there would be, you can be good enough to do this when? Or maybe you already are good enough now. Who knows? How would you know? So this is a really cool question, is you can ask, how do you know that's true? This is the first question to ask to transform a limiting belief. First question is, how do you know it's true? Yeah? And then do you know what the second question is? How do you really know it's true? Right? Because first we go, oh yeah, that's true. And then you go, hang on, no, let's scrutinize that. How do we really know that's true? Just kind of like we had the example before with the vase. No, there's no handle on that. How do you really know there's no handle on it? Oh, actually there is, right? Same thing with our limiting beliefs. Yeah. So that's the second question, is, how do you really know it's true? Third question is, could the opposite be true? Is it possible the opposite of that belief is actually true? And the answer is most often is, yeah, the opposite actually could be true, right? So tune into whatever your biggest limiting belief is there, or biggest constraint, and go, ask yourself, read it to yourself and say, could the opposite of that actually be true? What do you reckon? Could the opposite be true? Who here acknowledges that the opposite could be true? Yeah? Yeah. Now, the next question is, who would you be, or what would you be able to create if you believed the opposite? Like if you just were able to just instantly brainwash yourself, transform my beliefs, I now believe this. What behavior or what action or what different way of being would you demonstrate, and how would you be showing up in life if you now believed the opposite? Even if you were deluded, how would you be behaving? What action would you be doing? What would you be talking about? Who would you be? Maybe you might be on LinkedIn, maybe you might be ringing up people, investors, maybe you might be out there just like ferociously. If you had like 24 hours to live to make this happen, that's maybe the attitude that you would have towards it, because your belief would be, of course. So that's the recognition of all this belief stuff is just made up. So let's just make up beliefs that support us, that send us in the direction that's going to empower us. So that's my question for you right now is, could the opposite belief be true? And what impact would that have on your life if you decided to believe the opposite? Do you guys get the significance of that? Yeah? Yeah, this is really powerful. Yeah. So our mission in life now is to brainwash ourselves with lots of positive thoughts, with lots of affirmations, with lots of examples. And a classic example here is the, when you go for a Google search. We Google search what we want. What we search for is what we find. So if you search for, why am I depressed? You're going to get, okay, why am I depressed? If you search for why am I happy, you're going to get why am I happy? You're going to get how to cure, how to empower the Aboriginal community. Or you could say, why is the world fucked? Or why is the world good? Depending on what you go searching for, you'll get different evidence, right? Depending on what you're searching for. So my suggestion is go searching for everything that's going to empower you to brainwash and completely mind hack everything you've got in terms of your limiting beliefs around that, and go searching for the evidence that is going to support that. Because what it's going to do is, if you have enough of those 70,000 thoughts that happen on a consistent basis that are conspiring in your favor, what do you think is going to happen to that belief over time? The negative belief disappears and you have left with a new empowering belief. Now, here's the kicker. with timeline therapy, we can accelerate that process instantly. Because what we can do is, we can take a limiting belief, we can pick it up, it's like a weed in the garden, we can actually pull it out and throw it away, and then install a new belief, which is just another unconscious process like we did before with Bronwyn, which is just like a guided meditation, takes 12, 15 minutes, and what you actually end up with is you're like, at the end of it, you're like, oh my God, that belief that I had before, I actually don't believe that anymore. Oh, cool, it's gone. And it's just a mind trick. It's just a function of just going through a couple of processes, and it all updates. So that's the beautiful thing about timeline therapy. And don't get put off by the name therapy. It's like when most people think of therapy, they go, oh, no, I don't need to see a therapist. No. Well, I got news for you. This stuff it's what athletes use, and I'm going to give you guys an example of this. It's what professional athletes use in order to visualize their success. It's the same stuff. So these are what Olympic athletes are using, elite athletes are using in their daily practice to be world class at what they do. And it's exactly the same process as what we're teaching here. They've just applied it in sports psychology. So this stuff is magical.